We're really proud that everyone's listed up here has a wealth of knowledge, years of experience, and a diverse educational background that brings good decision-making, critical and ethical and good decision-making for our departments and providing good services for our tribal members. Recently, in early July, the IBIA ruled in a decision that affected a lot of the issues that are going along within the tribal government. It vacated the superintendent and the regional director's earlier decisions to recognize the Arrow Court, call them arbitrary and capricious. And the court went on to dismiss all prior claims by Leslie Harjo, and she failed to run in the 2013 election. Finally, the court wholly rejected the appeals of the bogus flyman third legislator because they lacked any standings to make claims under the tribe's constitution, judicial principles of standing, and IBIA regulations. Communication to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The administration has attempted to contact the Bureau of Indian Affairs. We've attempted to have the BIA to have the leases signed, and within the past 8 months, there's been 2 unilateral agreements signed through the government, not acknowledging a leader, but providing the services for those Public Law 638 contracts, which are really important in providing services. And actually today, the leadership met with the regional director, assistant regional director, and the superintendent and relayed some positive news, and we'll let Eddie and Cornell give more updates about that later in the presentation. Casino distributions, a lot of changes have been made on the casino distributions. Up to date from January to June for the first 6 months, distribution has been $22,208,893.26, and on average, that's $3.5 million per month. And so for the first 6 months, $22 million, it's a great number. We're really proud and happy that that money is coming back from the casino to the tribal government for services. Per capita payments, 20% of the gaming revenue is contributed to the per cap payments. Recently, the past week, I hope everybody got their per caps, hopefully sometime this week. I know there was a delay in some of them, but the amount was $567.88. And part of the per cap payments for the August one, there's a minor share that goes into the minors, and that was introduced in 2010. I'm really glad that the administration, each allocation, 20% of that allocation coming back to the tribe. Since January, we've made sure to make that money there. So it's good to be fiscally and ethically responsible for that type of honor and bringing back that agreement for those minors. Make sure that that money's there. Proven leadership. A lot of the changes that have been made and a lot of the decisions that have been made have been given through a lot of good leadership. It's important that we have someone who financially understands how our money works. Being a multi-million-dollar tribal government, bringing in funds, it's important to have someone who's fiscally responsible. As treasurer in previous administrations, Lieutenant Governor introduced the idea of the minor per cap, introduced in 2010. As a lieutenant governor during the state of emergency between May 2012 and October 2012, a lot of employees, over 50 employees were furloughed. The remaining were on an 80% salary reduction. During that time, he made sure that payroll was there and day-to-day operations were functioning. As treasurer, he helped uncover bingo tribes as well as poker tribes. And currently, as lieutenant governor, provides fiscally and efficient, effective financial decisions. Comes from a finance background, so it's really glad to have someone with that expertise being helping part of the leadership, which is really, really important. Right now we'll have the Tax Commission update. Yolanda Valenzuela-Lira, who's the staff accountant, give us some updates about the Tax Commission.
Okay. Hello, good evening. I will be sharing with you the Tax Commission appropriations for 2014 and as well the revenues. In January, the appropriations for per cap minor share was $618,940.12. In February, the IHS Reno Clinic quote renovations was $507,312.42. However, the IHS would reimburse $439,557.61. The total renovation was $485,255.47. And that left Tax Commission to fund $45,697.86. And currently at this time, the tribe is still paying for the upkeepings for the building, for utilities and whatnot. And as well, in February, the domestic violence social services, they didn't have no funds available. They didn't have no grant. So in 2013, the Chesapeake settlement, there was $25,000 appropriated to that program for some events that would happen for that year. Therefore, those were they did not happen, so it was reappropriated to direct services for those tribal members in need. In March, the complex needed some electrical work done. An electrical engineer needed to be provided. Tax Commission provided the engineer for $7,000. So far, only $3,800 has been paid until further work is done. In May, the Red Moon Powwow was $3,000. In June, the Respect needed some vans, so $95,000 is appropriated for some vans for that program. And then we have some football equipment for the tribal youth, $11,900. The Oklahoma Indian Nation Powwow, $3,000, and Barefoot Powwow. And we have the Johnson O'Malley, the students for school supplies, packaged school supplies was $24,821.58. The education building needed a replacement of a refrigerator was $1,439.10. The language program is going to provide Arapaho language at the Barefoot Powwow, and $2,000 is appropriated for that. And then we're going to have a land buyback program. Tax Commission appropriated $10,000 for that program. However, with that being said, the total amount for 2014 is $825,798.66. That number is low due to the BIA holding the per cap in 2013. The commissioners appropriated for the per cap, and as well the purchase the building for the IHS clinic in El Reno. And then we have the Oklahoma Tax Commission State Tribal Compact stamps. These revenues will be expensed for the year 2015. In January, $58,000, February, $55,000, March, $63,000, April, $39,000, May, $13,000, June, $16,000, and the total is $247,127.61. And then we have the Oklahoma Tax Commission Motor Fuels. These revenues will be expensed as they come in for that year or for that quarter. First quarter is $85,850.88. Second quarter, $88,413.71. The total is $174,264.59. Third quarter is still in, so we don't have that amount yet. Here's the revenues for Tax Commission 2014. The motor vehicle revenues will stay as the amount it is. In January, 16, February, 16,000, March, 21,000, April, we have 18,000, May, 20,000, June, 14, July, 22,000, $131,403.93 as of now. For the severance tax, gaming license, tobacco, and sales and business, these revenues will change due to accounting accrual. For example, the business license, they may be sent to us in the month of August. However, it might be for the month of March. So those numbers will change throughout the year. In severance tax so far, we have $1,055,850.91. In gaming license, $87,600. Tobacco tax, $24,850. And then sales tax, we have $6,713.18. And business license, $400. Thank you. Chris?
Thank you, Yolanda. Now we're going to have the casino management come up and give some updates about their individual properties, and we'll let them introduce themselves as they come up. So please welcome the casino management.
Thank you. My name is Trey Ramos. I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Lucky Star in Concho. At the end of this month, we're going to start pushing the promotion for Labor Day, and that's going to be it'll be a Coach bag and a Yeti cooler, and that'll be every week. And then our total employees are 396. Of that, 53 are managers and supervisors, 58% are tribal, 8% spouse, 13% native, and 21% non-native. We're getting ready to do our Employee Appreciation Day coming up next month, and we're looking forward to that. That's all I have. Robert?
Hello, my name is Chris Dorenzo. I'm the Assistant General Manager of our Clinton Lucky Star location. I've been with the casinos for 12 years. We currently have 310 employees at our Clinton Casino, with 43% being tribal members. Our management and supervisor staff consists of 61 individuals, with 53% of those being tribal members. And we currently have 1,176 machines out there, and we have over 360 of those machines are going to be scheduled to be switched out and refreshed by the end of October, so we're looking forward to that. And we're planning our Employee Appreciation Day as well for next month. Still working on the details for that. But so far this year, we've distributed through the end of through June, we distributed $10.6 million to the tribe, with another $1.4 million being distributed for the month of July. So things continue to go well in Clinton, and we look forward to finish out the year very strong. Thank you.
I'm Robert Romanos. I'm the Assistant General Manager for the Lucky Star Casino Travel Center. Currently, we have 127 employees. Out of those 127, 75 of them are tribal, which is 59%. 4 are spouses of tribal members, which is at 3%. 18 other natives at 14%, and 30 non-natives at 24%. In our supervisor and management positions, we have 14 tribal members, which is at 58%. 4 other native, 17%. And 6 non-natives, which is 25%. We're also getting ready to do our employee appreciation. We're trying to coincide it with our grand opening. We haven't had our grand opening yet. We're in the process of a project right now that's going to bring in more revenue, so that way we're waiting on that before we have our grand opening. But that's basically all I have. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kara Ferris, and I'm the Assistant General Manager at the Watonga Lucky Star Casino. Currently, we have 75 employees total. 45 are tribal, 1 is a spouse of a tribal member, 3 are members of other tribes, and 26 are non-tribal. Our management team, the operation managers, consists of 4 tribal members and 1 spouse of a tribal member. Currently, we're working on our employee appreciation. It's very important for us to show our appreciation to our employees. That's something we take pride in, and we know they work really hard for us, and we want to show them we appreciate them. We have weekly management meetings so that we can keep communication going. We have monthly meetings with all of our employees so that they can voice their opinions and give us ideas to make our casino better. We also have new games installed in the Watonga Casino, so I just encourage all of you guys to come out and look at the Watonga Casino. We're trying to get everything up and running and looking better, so come see us in Watonga.
Hello, my name is Hannah Little Coyote, and I am the Assistant General Manager for our Canton location. Currently, we have just under 400 machines. We're going to be adding about 50 more, hopefully in the next month or so. Right now, we have focused on, in the previous month, our appreciation to our employees. So far, for this year, we've contributed $4.7 million to the tribe, compared to $4.3 million that we did last year at the same time. Our total contribution for July was $545,000. We are currently hiring. We have 41% tribal members working at our facility, 3% are spouses of tribal members, 6% are natives of other tribes, and 48% are non-tribal members. We've been open for 6.5 years now, and considering with the lake being as low as it is, it's still about 12 feet under. We're doing pretty well. So come out and see us in Canton. Thank you.
I want to thank the casino management. It's really important that the casino management as well as the executive leadership on the tribal government side stay in close communication. The tribal government and the executive leadership, we have weekly meetings to stay in contact with updates of what's going on within each of the departments. How can we assist with each other? The casino management, they stay in close contact. They're really close. As you can tell, they all sit together at every meeting. So we're really glad that everybody is part of those leadership teams. So moving forward in the presentation, we have progressing our CNA tribes. The Respect Gymnasium is going to legislature. We need legislature approval. That project has been $2 million appropriated from the Tax Commission, and want to start on construction with that. So we're in that process. The Work Enforcement Act program has hired a new staff member to help facilitate some of the changes, wanting our employees to go back if they choose to get certificates, those types of things. The final stages of the contract for the Hammond Casino are being negotiated, and want to move forward to finalize and move forward with that project. And also the tribal, the tribe has been collaborating with the 401 post, letting them host meetings at the tribal complex. Prioritizing efforts to establish the Office of Veteran Affairs, having more research, we want to make sure that it is established by law so that this program can be provided for all veterans. They deserve a lot of respect and a lot of help and dedication, so that's something that the administration would really like to do. The elder care program has continued with the cooling assistance. This month of August is its last month, so please put in your application. It's up to $300. Cecil Gray in the back can help facilitate that conversation if you need any assistance. Developing a tribal member services directory. A lot of our tribal members provide services in different areas of businesses, so we want to make sure and try to develop that and get that list to everybody. The Department of Education recently hosted back-to-school bashes in the various communities, passing out school supplies, so we're really glad that they're going out to communities. They're actually doing outreaches, going to various programs, houses. How can they better serve the tribal programs or tribal members? The water plant recently was awarded a Cleanest Water in Oklahoma award, so Concho water is good to go, so please drink it. I'm just kidding. Emergency Medical Services Program, the program and the director received the Program and Director of the Year from Oklahoma Native American Medical Services, so really proud and glad that those two programs are excelling. One of our other highlights, as you can see, the gentleman standing up, as well as the mic, Cheyenne Arapaho Television and our Cheyenne Arapaho Tribal Tribune received 6 awards at the National Native American Media Awards ceremony. So we're really glad that they're going out there and being recognized for their hard work and dedication. We really appreciate their work and them providing the services, the news, updates that we have from the government side and the casino side. So we're really glad that they're part of the team. And they're here, so can we give them a round of applause for their dedication and recognition? And one of the initiatives from the administration was establishing firefighters, wildfire firefighters. Recently, we had about 50 applicants want to come to the process to getting PAC certified, as well as going through other realms to be a certified firefighter. We had 8 follow through. Actually, one of them was hurt, so we have 7. They recently went to Washington State a couple weeks ago, did their assignment, and returned home safely. There was 4 of them, and now we have 7 there out in California, I believe, fighting fire. So we're really proud that they're going out and representing and doing a civic duty. Please keep them in your prayers and thoughts, and we'll hopefully have their safe return. Upcoming opportunities, Department of Social Services is wanting to conduct a quarterly ICW event for our Indian kids. We want to make sure that they are welcome and they have a place for us. They have a place with us, so we're really glad that they're moving in that direction. Various grants pending to provide services for our tribal members. They're moving forward to include the community, everyone, tribal members, you are shareholders. We want to make sure that initiative for a new gaming revenue allocation plan includes everybody, not just initiatives from the administration, the legislatures, the executive directors, the governors. We want to make sure that all tribal members are included in that discussion. It's important to include people whose the decision, if it's going to affect them, they need to be included, and this is one prime example. So the transition of the crisis program to the HOPE program, it was formerly known as the emergency assistance, then transitioned to the crisis program, now it's the HOPE program, and it's called helping our people excel. There's a lot of major changes in it, and so if you have any questions, Cecil Gray, he oversees that program, and so there's some positive changes. We want to make sure that our tribal members feel empowered, not enabled with some of the services that we're providing. That goes back into our WIA program, providing a career and a development staff member. So those are some changes within the crisis, formerly crisis program. Positive tribal government. I think we can't stress it enough. We're moving in a good direction. We want to provide tools and resources for our tribal members. It's a positive work environment. We want to provide that. There's a lot of work to be done and a lot of changes that need to happen, and so we're really glad that we're moving in a good direction. Right now, we're going to have Lieutenant Governor Sankey as well as Governor Hamilton come up and answer any questions. There is a mic in the middle, and so if you're not able, we'll come bring the mic around, but we will encourage everyone to answer any questions. We want to make sure that everyone's voice is heard, so I want to thank everybody, and please welcome Eddie and Cornell.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out this evening and spending a little time with us about trying to figure out what's going on with our government at this stage of the administration. One thing I wanted to kind of go back to is we had a PowerPoint that indicated that within 6 months of this administration, we have the allocation distribution from the casinos have tallied up to just a little over 22 million. We had learned a little bit today that our distribution for this month will be just right under 3 million. So we're in the range of 25 million for 7 months with this in this administration. And just take it back a little bit further in comparison so that you can understand what this number means, is that in 2009, for the entire year, the distribution was at 30 million. And the same in 2010, it was also at 30 million. 2011, it was at 27 million. 2012, at 28 million. And 2013, it was at 29 million. So in 7 months, we were looking at 25 million. Where are we going to be at in the next 5 months by the end of the year with the allocation, the distributions from the casinos? Are we going to be more over the 35 million, closer to 40 million? These are just numbers that we wanted to let you see and be aware of, that the changes we made at the casino levels is making significant differences of what we're getting back to the tribe and to get it out to tribal members. And hopefully this money can turn into a little bit more of the different types of programs, like we mentioned, the Office of Veterans Affairs, helping more with social services. Those types of issues will actually be addressed with this new approach that we're taking with this money. We also talked a little bit, Chris introduced some language about the recent conversation we had today with BIA. We actually sat down with Dan Deerenwater, Terry Bruner, Betty Tibicani, about some issues concerning the proposed amendments that the legislation is proposing for, changes to the Constitution. We had some good language with them about the process, procedures, and make sure that everything would be covered. They were fine with really getting them out of the picture on that whole issue. So that was a positive aspect. But in addition, we also talked about the recent issues about leadership disputes, the IBIA decision that came out July 10th, and where they are going, especially with some of the issues with the remand back to the regional office for per cap issues. It really was a good conversation because they more or less were talking a lot, but they weren't saying. And you know how BIA likes to do that. They want to talk, but they really won't tell you too much about what we kind of need to do. The only thing that gives us direction is really we need to produce resolutions, and things will start falling into place. And we talked about fee to trust lands. We talked about roads. Where's Angie? It's actually trying to produce a resolution to support those efforts to retrieve those monies, which is a little over $5 million. And so that will be in a special legislative session next Wednesday that we'll ask legislation to approve that resolution so we can produce that to regional office so they can start acting upon that whole issue so we're not going to be out that $5 million. It won't go back to the feds. So we're making progress. We're getting good response from BIA. That was our first and initial meeting with this administration with them, and so we look forward to better dialogue and communication and fostering that relationship in the near future as well. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to open up with and kind of get to?
Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor. I appreciate this opportunity to speak to you as one of the candidates running for the Tribal Council Coordinator. I really feel that running for this position is going to enhance the Tribal Council as well as the governing body. The Tribal Council, a lot of times, is not giving the information that they need to really make informed decisions when they come to the Tribal Council meetings. They also don't know about issues that are affecting the tribes. Although they're involved in the discussions, a lot of times that's all. They need to be involved in the vote. That's where it counts. To approve like contracts, especially, they have to approve the gaming contracts. Other contracts go to the legislature. And I think one of the things that we're still trying to do as a government under a new constitution is we're all trying to clear our roles in the various branches and what our roles and responsibilities are. But ultimately, the Tribal Council is the body that not only votes on some of these issues that put before them, they also have powers and responsibilities also that really haven't been fully realized. And I think that that's where lies our progress. As a tribe, we can progress more and get like some of these other tribes who are progressive and become in the forefront. But the first thing we need to do is learn to respect one another in these branches of government. There's outlined in the Constitution, there are specific powers given to our governor's executive office. There are specific powers given to the legislature. There are specific powers given to the Tribal Council and to the judicial branch. These powers, although they overlap, there's where you have to have the respect in including one another in the process of running this government. And hopefully, in doing that, we can put an end to fighting, pull in power struggles, communication. gets better when you work together. And I think that the Constitution also says there also is protected, each branch is protected by a separation of powers clause. And I think that each branch has to get fully knowledgeable about their powers and their authorities, and as well as their boundaries. And even if there are some overlapping, they need to come together and communicate that to one another. And I think as the Tribal Council Coordinator, I've been involved actively for like 20 plus years. I've never shied away from taking a stance that somebody else won't if I don't believe it's in the best interest of my family and my people. So I look forward to working with you guys if I'm the one that's selected. I look forward to working with the legislature, but I will also take a firm stand if you run over the powers of the Tribal Council. And I think I would only be protecting us, because one of the things that we disregard a lot of times is the people that come together one time a year or in a special Tribal Council meeting. They take their time out to come here, and they're really interested in what goes on with their tribe and within their government. And a lot of times, they can't hear back there, they can't understand. And so it's really our responsibility, would be our responsibility if I so get the Tribal Council Coordinator, to help inform them, as well as the governor, as well as the legislature, and as well as the courts. They have to help the Tribal Council to understand what's going on in their government and how important the issues are that are facing our government. I look forward to being your Tribal Council Coordinator if you so choose. Thank you very much. Thank you, Eddie.
I also wanted to mention was that the last administration, you'd seen the travel center go up, and you'd seen part of the Hammond Casino start going up as well, and that had stopped. We had looked at the contract that was approved by Tribal Council, and so that these two projects could get underway. When we came in, we didn't pay anything into that contract because we felt that the contract wasn't favorable for the tribes at all. If you look at the contract, it called for 6 years, 11 months, 29 days. And they were going to get 10% of the net wins. In addition, I mean, that was the contract. They were more or less trying to be a partner. It was approved that way. We didn't feel that that was the right route for the tribe to go, because at the end of 6 years, 11 months, 29 days, you're looking at a cost to build the facility, because it's a construction company that just builds these buildings. And the amount of money that they were going to generate over that course of time was probably going to be in the range $11, $12 million. We didn't agree with that. We looked at that, revisited, and came back and negotiated a term that was more favorable for the tribe. In the end, we paid them $400,000 up front for this travel center. We will pay them 6% for 18 months, which will basically be $3.5 million by the time we get through paying that contract. So ultimately, you look at 6 years, 11 months compared to 18 months, we're basically going to be saving the tribe close to $7 or $8 million over that course. So that is the same as we're going with the Hammond project, is that we're this close to finalizing that contract as well, so we can get that back going, get it completed. But we're looking at a contract with that same company that it'll be a 2-year contract, and they'll get back their $3.5 million instead of us paying close to 11 or 12 million for that project as well. So you can see that our interest is basically for the tribe and looking at these contracts to say, who's actually is it in favor of? I mean, they're a construction company. They're not a partner. We didn't want that. So that's what we wanted to bring into light too. We will actually put that in writing and show you what the contracts were like before and how we made those adjustments, and those will be forthcoming as well. Now we're open for any questions if you have any. Yes, sir.
Well, I have two questions. One is this $3.5 million. Does that include all the casinos together? So
all the numbers we've been getting for these months, it basically averages 3.5 million per month.
So
from all the casinos.
That's all the casinos.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
I was just wondering, are we just breaking even with the Watonga Casino? Are we, because one of the things I'm concerned about is because I don't have anything that breaks down our gaming, and I would like to see it, where it's broken down into how much each casino is making.
Who contributes what to the allocation?
Yeah. And, but I think that if we're kind of holding in our palm the Watonga Casino and it's really not producing, and then we go, and our goal has always been to open a casino in Elk City, and then we're going to have another one in Hammond. So I think those are things that we really need to think about. Is it financially feasible to do those casinos?
True, and just so that you'll know, when we meet with our AGMs, we always try to see what we can do to help Watonga, because their revenues are at that, breaking even or under. And you had seen probably some of the other decisions we made with other entities that we had invested in, but they ended up being losers, like the smoke shops. Since 2009, over $1 million, was being, Gary Nursing Home, there was a decline. The Calumet grocery store, those issues. So we have to look at this issue with Watonga, because it's been there for
2004.
Okay. And are we going to just look at the numbers and say, well, it's a loser, we need to abandon it? But you're talking about jobs as well, and what the casino life does for that community. So we're looking at other avenues of trying to inject it with, are we going to look at, I think, where's Angie? We talked about the parking lot, making that more accommodable for trucks, of those things, and making it look better, because the facility isn't, we know that. We've seen it. We were out there, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And so upon discovery of some of the things that we were looking at as far as what's going on here on campus, we discovered that there are 3 buildings that were purchased from Rigid. We're trying to find out the specs on those and see if that's something that we can actually maybe look at trying to put out there at Watonga to see if that would actually draw and be a better response, from the communities or patrons. But those are things yet to come to see if that's something we want to do or can do. But we want to try to see what we can do to help increase, and help that community out with that casino and the marketing and all such things, try to make sure we get a draw there, So we haven't really, we're attempting, but we really haven't made too big of strides to make it more a destination.
Tribal Council is a branch of this government. There's 4 branches. Tribal Council is one of those branches. You cannot, executive branch cannot go over and tell Tribal Council what they can and can't do. Any more than Tribal Council can come and tell you what to do. So I'm not in agreement with a lot of these resolutions that are going to come to the floor. And I intend to state that because I'm a tribal council member, and I'm going to do everything I can to protect my right as a tribal council member. I hope that we get a good coordinator in there, because that coordinator is the only means that we, the tribal members, have to have our voice heard in this government. And I want a good coordinator in there that will tell us about every single bill that comes from that legislative branch that we have the right to appeal that, repeal that bill. That's one of our rights. Thank you.
I don't know if there were questions, but one of the things that we talked about, I think that's what Vera touched on too, is that there's this issue of separation of powers. And if these legislators are doing their own or not, do I overstep my boundaries into them and tell them how to conduct their business? Where are the constituents of those districts to put their representatives to the test about adhering to the Constitution? Checks and balances is there, but how much, it's just like, I really don't like or appreciate John Parrish trying to come in, or legislators trying to come in and dictate how our programs are being run, or their so-called moves of how we should actually, our programs should be ran or set up, etc. So, we have to respect that boundary of separation of powers.
Well, Ida, I know what you said about our per cap. You have to know that the last administration didn't pay November, December 20% to the per cap. So we had to make up for that. Also, last year, the per cap was going to be at $480-something. She made a contract with Elm Tree Gaming something Incorporated. They wanted $1 million in 7 days. Janice signed this contract. They sent us $1 million. It went straight from the gaming company to Treasury, and that's what boosted the per cap at that time. Now we're stuck with a contract with this company, and their machines are just not performing. They're up at the travel center. We got 50 there. We got 25 at Concho, at the main facility. But that deal is for 7 years, 6 years, 11 months, 29 days, and they're guaranteed a win per unit of $125 a day, and they only pull in like $34 a day. So we're having to make up that payment, and we're stuck with them for 7 years for $1 million that they needed in 7 days. So, I don't know what you do if you look at, who's being fair. I think we're being awfully fair. I mean, this Elm Tree deal is just not any good.
What is it that, we want to be open, we want to expose and show you, we're not going to hide anything about what we're trying to do. We want this to be as open like everybody was hoping that the government would be. So that's just part of educating, the public of what we had kind of uncovered on that. Mary? Jeff, hold up. They'll give you a mic.
When the casinos were giving their presentation, the only ones that told us how much was being given this month was Clinton. I think he said 10.4 to date or something like that.
1.4, I think is what he...
1.4 for July. Yes. But I know he said 10.4.
Total for the year, I think. Is that what you heard?
For this year? For this year? Okay, and then Canton said 545. So what did Watonga make and what did Concho make for this month?
And the travel center?
And the travel center, yeah. Concho Casino, Watonga Casino, and
to be open and to show you, Watonga actually did not contribute because they were minus 58,000 for the month. So there wasn't no distribution from Watonga.
So what about Concho?
Concho contributed 880,000, some change. Clinton was just right under, a little under 1.4 at 1,396,000, some change. And the travel center was at 113,000 and some change. So we're roughly like 2.956, I think is what the distribution be for this month.
Okay. And I got another question. On the new grant, it says 42% for tribal programs. How much is the outer care? What do they get out of this 42%?
Well, with that, because I think we explained last or Tuesday when this was kind of brought up, that legislation passed that GRAP, and so it was approved by Interior. When Cornell was in as treasurer when this came through, is that we didn't really have a breakdown of what percentages the programs were getting now. So they kind of kept the model of what they were getting before, like elder care at 16%. They were trying to keep that kind of same injection as far as what these breakdowns were prior. So they kind of kept it like that, but it really wasn't defined how much EDEV, economic development, would get, or respect. So they just kind of looked at the previous model and kind of modeled that to keep it at the same rate.
So it's probably like 16% of 42%?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's...
Because you've got...
well, and the budgets that they had approved from the previous years with that the prior GRAP, where they had actual breakdowns, percentages, is that when they submitted these, the budgets for 2014, let's say, they kept them around the same amount that they were getting before. So there was still that same amount. It may not be addressed as like a true 16%, but at least the budgets for the program were roughly approximately the same amounts that they were getting the previous years.
Also, on this annual tribal council meeting that's coming up in October, are we, as a tribal council, going to get to vote on the budget?
If we can get legislation that they want to have that approved and finalized by September 1, so it can be on the agenda for October. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I was curious. I know that a lot of the tribes here in Oklahoma have been on TV. They have information about their tribe. I was curious about our tribe's mission statement as far as what we send out to the media. Is there anything like that? Also, is there plans for some other industry besides the casino business that, you know, in case the casino business goes down, then is there another industry that you've looked at or thought about that you could?
Well, I think, I mean, you're a veteran that's been around and seen the tribe's actions or lack of it at points. You've seen many of companies out there wanting to approach the tribe, you know, business committee era. A lot of things weren't done. The past administrations, you know, we kind of just more or less concentrated on putting up new casinos or expansions, but nothing in the parts of, well, we tried the wind towers, you know, but that was a fiasco, still a fiasco. But I'd like to, you know, have an open dialogue about trying to look at other avenues to generate revenues. But, you know, I think it takes a team effort into making sure that we actually have a true commission for economic development that would actually look at having phases to get to the point of really have a good discussion of looking at, bring that to the public to discuss, do we want to go with this type of company?
Well, something that I've heard out in El Reno, since I live here, is that there have been several attempts by, I won't name the person, that tried to set up some kind of industry or business here in El Reno, and the community was against it, maybe because of the tribe. I don't know what the reason was for, but do we face problems like that as a tribe?
Actually, we had a good meeting with the mayor, the city manager, editor of the newspaper, maybe a month ago. They asked if the land out there by Denny's was in trust, because they brought in these gentlemen that represented a company that actually built small arenas, event centers, that could actually do more than just concerts or basketball games, different avenues that they were looking at. They actually thought our land out there was in trust, but we had to, bust their bubble a little bit and say, well, it's not, it hasn't been because of this the leadership disputes and stuff. And so they also were looking at trying to bring in the vendors like Target and stuff and out in that area to help improve, obviously the business around El Reno. But since it's not in trust, they wanted to maybe look at trying to do something more closer out here to the casino. So, but we haven't, that was the only meeting we had with them so far.
I see. Okay, that's, well, like I said, I don't know about our mission statement, but maybe that's something that the administration can look at and come up with something like that to get out to the community. Because I think the community out there, and I'm talking El Reno, Oklahoma City, and the local towns, they look at stuff like that. They look at what is Concho all about? I've heard a lot of negative comments about Concho, and I just wonder why there's so much negativity out there. So, but that's all.
Thank you. And the reason we're not on TV is because we're not civilized like those guys.
Eddie, thank you for letting me speak again. In Article 7, Section 4C, it states, no treaty, compact, or gaming management contract shall be valid which has not been previously authorized by the tribal council. That contract that we were speaking about, Cornell mentioned, we shouldn't be paying any more money to that company because that contract is not valid if it was not approved by the tribal council. That is the reason why I took issue with that pokertribes.com, because it never came before the tribal council. There's a lot of things that have gotten by in the last 2 administrations from this, under this new constitution. And, but I think that, you can make that invalid because they didn't go through the proper channels, and it's not valid. And it states right here in our Constitution, and I know you value this Constitution, so I would ask that you not pay any more money to them because it's not a valid contract.
Do we have any other questions or concerns? We've still got our executive directors here if they got any issues about the programs. Any complaints? Yes. Chris. No.
And no, it's not a complaint. I want to offer you some words of encouragement. You have a tough road to follow. You're young, and I know that you can stand up and try to do the right thing. I also want to tell you that along the way you're going to have many oppositions, many political and otherwise, and you're going to see a lot of that at the tribal council meeting. But I want to encourage you to try the best you can to do what you know is best for our people. I think that's all that we really truly want. You're not going to see a lot of people at your meetings, the community out there, because a lot of people really don't want to become involved in politics, but yet they still have, you know, a vision for our tribe. They still want good things for us, you know. I'm not going to always agree with you guys, and I guess you know that. But one really hard thing to do is to not take it personal, and it's not personal. You know, I too want what is best for the tribe, for my people too out there in Western Oklahoma. You're always going to see me get up and say Hammond, you know. And but I want to encourage you. You are going to have a lot of political opposition, but stand up and be strong.
Thank you. And I value the people that have those questions or the opposition, because it keeps us on our toes to make sure that, you know, we don't screw up along the way or mess up or disregard the true intent of where we're at. We're trying to basically, the foundation is do the best we can for our tribe members. So thank you for the words. Before we end, I just want to, Chris had came up and put that in my ear, was that, you know, if we could keep the families in prayer of those that were recently, had those loved ones that were recently left us, especially the Bird family, just happened just recently, but the other families that had went through their tough times of dealing with the loss of their loved ones, and it was, you know, there was 6 or 7 just as recently as within a week. So just hope you all keep everybody in your prayers, and wish you all the best of luck, and that you have a safe trip home tonight. But thank you for coming out, and we'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.